Greetings, love. How y'all flowing today? I am Professor Robinson here to bring you tips, tools, and strategy to unbox and activate your remembrance. Today, we are going to be talking about controlled mindsets because not every voice and every thought that you hear in your head or every thought that you think is yours. There is a such thing called controlled propaganda and the inner committee. This is what we're going to talk about. So if this sizzles your spirit in any way, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below, and let's get into it. Have you ever wondered or just sat and reflected on whose thoughts am I thinking in my mind? Are there other people controlling my thoughts? How have I lived my life based on the thoughts and beliefs and the mindsets of other people? Have you ever wondered that? The reason why this is important now, because there is a lot of fear mongering that is perpetuated to keep us in a fatalistic loop of fear. There are entities, beings, spiritual malevolent forces. Yes, I said it. There are spiritual malevolent forces that are around us that you can, the spiritual malevolent forces you can only see with your third eye, which means you have to be able and willing to see beyond the physical, that send energetic signals to your mind and to the minds of other people around you to keep you in a state of fear. This message, if this doesn't sit well with you, this may not be the message for you. But that's where we are. Have you ever thought why everything that you see in media, whether it's social media, whether it's the news, whether it's news correspondences, that can be newspapers, that is inciting a lot of fear? And when there are masses of people having the same response and the same reaction, I take that back, not response, but the same reaction to messages that are promoted and pumped out on a day-to-day basis, that is to control. These entities feed on the energy and the fear that we emit out into the world. They feed on this energy. And they depend on us to remain in a perpetual state of sleep. Because if you stay in a state of sleep, which you can call it the sunken place, you could call it mind vegetation, if you will, you could call it being in a fatalistic loop. They depend on that, because if you stay in that state, that means that they will always have control over you. They will have control over your thoughts, control over your destinies, and keep you in a state of trauma. If you have ever considered, hopefully you have, and I'm not saying that as a judgment, but we're just in a place now where the Most High is calling for us to really be all that we are here to be. The Most High is really calling us forth. The Most High is calling us higher to fulfill our purpose, to live inside of our dreams. And when we are in a constant state of fear, when we are in a constant state of being reactionary to outside influences, it keeps us further away from our purpose and our truth, and standing on our business and standing on our square. You cannot live your truth and fulfill destiny from a state of being controlled by other people. Now, fear, yes, fear can be healthy, meaning when you're doing something that takes you out of your comfort zone, you may feel a little nervousness. You may feel a little fear because it's something that is unknown. It's your first time doing it. That's healthy. that's challenging your mind, that's stretching your mind, that's expanding you to new heights. That's all fine and well. But what I'm speaking about is the distractions that get perpetuated and the emotional manipulation that happens when when the the narratives that are promoted around you right now, how are you responding to them? That is a very important question to ask yourself. How am I reacting? Because response is the root to responsibility. When we're reactionary and reacting to instances and narratives and propaganda, we're not being responsible, we're reacting. So ask yourself, how am I reacting or am I responding to this situation? Check in with your inner dialogue. If your inner dialogue is telling you that you are reacting, that means that you are disconnected from your truth. You are being disconnected from your higher self, and your mind is becoming porous. When your mind is porous, then other influences outside of your own can come in and hijack your mind. Think about, for those of you who are tech people, you probably know how to go inside of a computer and remove a virus. For those of us who don't, like myself, I know that a virus may be somewhere, and if I had some sickness or a cold in my body, I know what it will feel like, and know how to remove it. So I liken that to the same thing with a tech person, a tech specialist who knows how to work computers to remove viruses. But I'm saying all that to say, using those simple analogies to say that when your mind has been hijacked, there is a virus. And those virus shows up in the form of thoughts that keep you limited, limiting beliefs, beliefs of fear, beliefs of hopelessness, powerlessness, victimhood, avoidance, and self-sabotage. If you find yourself in those constant fatalistic loops of thinking victim thoughts, thinking that someone has more power over you than you have over yourself, or the most high divine source has over you, then your mindset has been hijacked. But worry not. We're going to get to that in a moment, how you can really start to get yourself out of that loop. Why is this important right now, though? This is important because we're in a time, in a space, we're in the Aquarian age. Let me just say that point blank period. We're in the Aquarian age, which is the frequency and the era of I know. Meaning we have to know without a shadow of a doubt who we are, whose we are, our purpose, our mission. And if you don't know, that's fine. However, it is important that you be in control of your mind, of your heart, of your beliefs, of your own narratives. Most of the shit that we've been taught from childhood till adulthood, until we really start questioning, has been a bunch of bullshit. It's been a bunch of lies by the people that have raised us and the people that have taught us. And I can say that because I'm an educator. And I'm always mindful when I'm in the classroom what I am teaching and how I am teaching, but I also give nuances and plant seeds so that my students can so that they can really think for themselves, because we have been taught out of being critical thinkers. Because again, like I said, if we're not critical thinkers, if you choose to not critically think and allow other people to think for you, then your mind gets to be controlled. Your life gets to be controlled. You're told what to do, how to do it, what to wear, how to think, who to sleep with, where to go, where to work, how to do the job. You become a follower and you become ripe for the slaughter. That's just point blank period. That's just what it is. But we're in an age where you are being called to reclaim your sovereignty. Having inner authority over your mind, over your beliefs, over your emotions, over your heart, over your destiny is your divine birthright. No one has dominion over that unless you give it to them. Now, granted, like I said, we've been sold a bunch of bullshit throughout our lives. But if you really look close and look a little bit more deeply behind those narratives that's getting pushed, I'm not going to get into the narratives. You see them all around. You don't need me to tell you what they are. But if you go a little bit closer and look a little bit closer with your third eye, not your physical eye, but your third eye sees beyond the physical. You will see or start to question something is not right about that. Why do they keep promoting the same narrative, the same exact dates throughout every year? Just food for thought. Just pay attention to it if you choose to or not. Howsoever, we are in the age of Aquarius, the Aquarian age, and we are being called to activate our sovereignty. That means you have dominion over your mind, your dominion over your being, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your cosmic destiny, your psychic destiny, your cultural destiny. That's what sovereignty is. And your birthright, your inheritance is coming back to you. And having a healthy mindset is a part of your divine inheritance as well. Your ancestors, not the most immediate ones. I'm speaking past the 800 years. But your ancestors, thousands and thousands of years ago, had very strong minds. If you don't trust it, sit with it and reflect on that. The other thing I wanted to point out for you to be mindful of is the inner committee. The inner committee is that group of people in your mind that has been cultivated and comes up when you are getting ready to do something that is out of the norm than what you've been taught. The inner committee can consist of your grandmother, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, your teachers, your community leaders, your church leaders, a pastor, whomever, people that reared you, people that had any part of your upbringing. Even some of the texts that you read when you were going through school. That's the composite of your inner committee. But really pay attention to some of those thoughts that do come in your mind when you're getting ready to take that leap of faith, when you're getting ready to do the thing that your soul is calling for you to do. Do the thing that makes you scared and you do it anyway. When you're going for your dreams, when you are going for that new career, when you're going to leap into that new leadership role, what are you feeling? What thoughts are coming up for you? When you know how to investigate these thoughts by choosing to manage your own inner dialogue, that's you being sovereign over your own state of being. This is you taking responsibility and not reacting to the mechanisms around you to keep you in that fatalistic loop. Remember, these malevolent spiritual forces feed on the lesser vibrational frequencies, such as fear, such as self-sabotage, such as victimhood. They feed on that energy. So the ways that you can reclaim and expand and elevate your mindset is do a daily mind audit. This is doing a daily thought cleanse. So every morning, every evening, spend 5 to 10 minutes a day of this time asking yourself, when you're thinking these thoughts, and you'll know if it's something for you to really consider, because you will feel some level of uneasiness, whatever that may be. And you may want to look up an emotional feeling wheel. If you look at the emotional feeling wheel, you can find on that wheel where your feelings lie, and that will let you know if this is a thought and a belief or a paradigm that you really need to investigate. So just ask yourself, is this thought mine? Who taught me this thought? Who taught me to believe this? Who taught me to think that I had to work extra hard to be great at something that's really not even in my purpose? Who told me that it was going to be hard for me to be a leader? Who taught me that it will be hard for me to become wealthy? Are those your thoughts? Does it serve my greatest and highest good? Does it bring me peace? If you get any no to those answers, then you know that those are not your thoughts. And you get to release it and replace it with not just something positive. Well, in addition to something positive, you replace it with what it is that you truly desire to have. So doing a mind audit. The next one is stillness. I cannot stress enough the power of stillness, because we have so much coming at us day in and day out. It is so vital and so important for us to be in stillness. And when I say stillness, I don't mean sitting still, scrolling through your phone, scrolling through the computer, turning on the TV. I mean really sitting still, doing nothing, absolutely nothing, complete silence. Sit in stillness for 5 minutes a day. When you're sitting in stillness, that's when you allow your higher self to speak through you. Those quiet whispers that is really nudging you to move forward in your destiny, in your purpose. That's how you get it, through stillness. Nobody can fuck with you when you in your stillness and you getting those quiet whispers. Guess what? You can't read them from no damn book. I don't care how many books you've read. I've read many. I have read many books and will continue to read many books. But what I know in my heart of hearts, I could have never gotten from a book, because I go within to the wellspring of my own resources to get what it is that spirit is guiding me to receive. It's internal. You have the same. So as you're in stillness, hold these thoughts in your mind. I reclaim my cosmic destiny. I reclaim my cultural identity. I reclaim my spiritual identity. You can do all three, you can do one, or you can do none at all. As long as you're sitting in stillness at least 5 minutes out of your day. I don't care when you do it, you find that time, but do it. That stillness is so vital, especially for a time as this. This is such a grand opportunity to take for us to be in our frequency of sovereignty right now. The next one and last one is be mindful of what you take in. I noticed that a lot of people, and I used to do this many years ago. It's been over 20 years since I've done this. Wake up and they turn on the news. I I stopped doing that a long time ago because on my spiritual journey, which has been over 20 years, I recognized that those were grand distractions because it did not feel good knowing so much of the trauma that was happening in the world. I had my own trauma that I was dealing with. We all have our own traumas. But the media and the propaganda and the malevolent forces, if you will, want us to stay in the trauma cycle. They want us to stay in victimhood and wanting to give our power to something else outside of ourselves. So be mindful what you take in. Don't watch the news in the morning time. Don't watch it anymore. I mean, if you gotta watch the news, do it later on. Don't watch it before you go to bed. Maybe you watch the news and then you sit in silence after you watch the news, an hour or so before going to bed. All of this is propaganda driven. It tells you how to think. It tells you how to be. And it doesn't even know who you are. You are the only person that can tell you who you are. Again, you can't get it from a book. You can't get it from anyone else. Only you know that. So that's my message, my word for today. I hope that this sizzles your spirit. If it did, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below, and let me know what you think. I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Love you. Mwah.